A bit further now, and what came out of that press conference is legal expert Casper Badenhorst, who is a senior associate at Ulrich Roux and Associates. Casper, thanks for your time this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Look, clearly what comes out of this press conference is that in order for there to be seen like some credibility is being restored, I think this particular unit is going to have to deal with some of the issues that have come out of the commissions of inquiry quite fast.
Absolutely, that is so, and I think there's and just following what's happened today and seeing the sort of the general public's comment on it, I think there's a lot of concern about a lot of talk and no action. But I think I reiterate what Hermione Batohi says, that these investigations do take some time. I think people would love to see immediate prosecution on many of the things that come out of the commission, but there is the fact that they need to consider the evidence around each of those aspects and each of the allegations that are made, and to decide on the credibility of that. And investigations have to happen. The SAPs have to be mandated to investigate and to present to the prosecution whether they have sufficient evidence. So I think there's a bit of frustration in terms of how long it's going to take.
Yeah, and then today, of course, a few announcements with the appointments of the former head of operations for the Scorpions, Tanda Mgwengwe, as well as Jeff Butlender, SC, will advise on the legal aspects of some of these cases that will be dealt with. Talk to us a bit about that.
Yeah, I think that the prosecution, National Prosecuting Authority, they need some assistance. Even with Jeff Butlender, it's a heavy weight that they bring in to get assistance in driving these matters. So it's a strategic plan. It's a good one, I believe.
Yeah. Would you believe precisely because what tends to have been what we've seen in the public domain is that these cases are built, and then when they get to court, they're actually collapse. Yes. So the senior individual in the form of Jeff Butlender SC, who's been brought in, is to ensure that these cases are watertight, that they would be able to stand in court.
Absolutely, and I think many people don't realize that you have people within the legal industry that are they've had an immense amount of experience, and they know how to guide matters and how to make sure that they do not fall through the cracks, as in many cases where you'd mandate a prosecutor. And look, the prosecutors do their jobs as best as they can, but it's so overwhelming that sometimes you do just need the assistance of people within the legal industry. Yeah.
Casper, one of the key things that she also mentioned was that one of their key focuses is that they would want to also focus in the majority on a clean-up within the security sector, because I think in order to aspire the kind of confidence that the National Prosecuting Authority wants is to make sure that they're able to clean up their own house first to get rid of the so-called rotten apples.
Yes, yeah. No, well, it's with anything. I mean, if your own entity is rotten to the core, it's not going to work. You need to ensure that it's clean, that the people are there with purpose and have the intent of forwarding their mandates, as in this case being prosecutors. You need to do that. You need to strengthen your foundations. Otherwise, and it's exactly that. I mean, they need to ensure that the foundations of the NPA are strong, and that is what they would do. And I think it's high time that happens.
How do they go about doing that? Because clearly it seems that over a period of time, the integrity of the National Prosecuting Authority had really been put at risk. So with that cleanup that they now say they will have to do from inside, obviously perhaps one might argue that there could be a serious pushback from those who would not want to be prosecuted. I'm looking at the sternness of the voices of both women.
Yes, yeah.
And what then does the National Prosecuting Authority need to do to ensure that it's not just lip service, but something tangible is done to change the perception of what is viewed by the public of the National Prosecuting Authority, that it's been hijacked?
Well, look, it's hard to say what they will do and what the processes are that they should follow. In a way, it almost sounds like a labour matter, where if they find that people are corrupt within the NPA, certain processes have to take place to dismiss those employees. So it's hard to say how they will go about it. Obviously, and just as in any case, investigations need to be done, and some sort of conclusion needs to be determined as to whether those people are right for the position or not. but you know, as far as going through and ensuring that people are cleaned out, people that shouldn't be there, that will be more of a labour issue that they'll have to take proper procedure and in a legal manner to clean up house.
Yeah, Cronje also mentions a very small team, obviously, because this will be a specialised unit that will be dealing with, you know, high-profile or corruption. So, what kind of team, you know, would you say, from your aspect, would be the right team to deal with these kinds of high-profile investigations and ensuring that ultimately, at the end of the day, someone is held to account for the widespread corruption that has been uncovered by a range of things, including these commissions of inquiry which are sitting?
Yeah. Well, look, I think that is where the experts from outside the NPA come in. Keeping the team, maybe the permanent members, small is there to assist in making sure that it's focused, but having outside input is going to be hugely beneficial to them in ensuring that. So look, I'm not sure who they will appoint in terms of that, but the fact that they are saying that they are going to appoint
But it will obviously have to be individuals whose integrity has probably been tested, because the challenge within the National Prosecuting Authority and some of the allegations that have been made in the past relate to you know, individuals being so-called bought for certain things to go away. So what I'm talking about is the caliber of individuals in terms of integrity that should form part of that particular unit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's what you would want to ensure. I'm not sure how they'd go about that, but I mean, that's, you know, again, I suppose that's at times a personal choice, and what you determine whether a person has integrity or not. And I mean, obviously, if there's a tainted background, of course, that I think your public perception in terms of you know, thinking that the NPA is actually there to clean up house and to make sure that these units are correct. Obviously, you don't want to appoint someone like that. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, if it's someone and I keep referring to Butlinder, but I mean, someone like him, he's got an impeccable reputation, and there's encouragement in that.
Encouragement in that. Thank you so much for your time. Casper Badenhorst, who is a senior associate at Ulrich Roux Associates. Thank you very much for your time. Let's move on to other stories now. Judgment has been